Cool. Right. Episode 13 of the People of Interest podcast today. We are joined by a British track and field legend, really, in his own right, and has done so maybe more so after his career from some of the antics he's been up to, which we're going to go into a lot today. But just to kind of give you a quick insight, Mark Findlay is joining us today. He is the 75th fastest man in the UK to ever cover the distance of 100 metres. The 77th fastest man to ever cover the distance of 200 metres. And just to put you into perspective, 0.4 seconds behind our newly crowned British champion over the 100, Zarnell Hughes, and 0.8 behind him over the 200. And that's, well, obviously, I know in athletics terms, we might say that's a long way, but for the normal individual, just to put that into context, that time is less than what it takes you to have a whole normal heartbeat when you're at rest. So, yeah, quick, rapid. Mark, how you doing, sir? You all right?
I'm good, man. Yeah,
good.
Yeah, good to be here, mate. I'm doing well.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Mark.
No problem, brother.
Mark, I've watched a few. Well, I think you followed me after the OG interview, and then obviously again knowing you from just the history of athletics anyway, and going through things. I wanted to almost have a catch up with you today because what you have achieved in your sporting career and the journey within that, but then also you've almost taken like a second one now past that as well, which I think for a lot of the time when sportsmen and women come out of being in that limelight. Not everyone, but there are some challenges within that that has been reported before, both like mentally, from a financial perspective, and just finding your place in the world after you've been in the like upper echelons of just society as a whole.
For sure.
So let's get into looking back at your achievements, particularly in the under 23. So 4x1 gold medalist in the European Junior and under 23 championships, a bronze medalist in the European Junior Championships as well.
Yeah.
Where does it all begin before you got to that point? Where do we start?
Wowzers. So yeah, I started track like properly. I'd say probably like 12 down at Walthamstow AC.
Okay.
Twice a week. But at that time I was still playing numerous sports. I was doing track, I was playing basketball, I was playing football, I was playing volleyball. So I kind of just kept that going right the way through into my teens. But it was, I was always fast at school, borough championships I was winning. And it kind of come to a head when I kind of got to like 15, 16, when it was like I couldn't keep up playing all these sports at a certain level. I kind of had to choose. And at the time I was playing football. Had a little spell at Millwall. I was at trial at QPR at the time. But that same year I got my first internationals in track. Okay. So it was like, I was in the first year of getting internationals, I was travelling. I left the country 5 times. And with football, little did I know, maybe in hindsight, but, I was, you go in Southampton, you go in there on a cold night.
Cold nights at Stoke, yeah.
And obviously, like, my dad weren't really around, so my mum kind of, she knew I was into sport. She let me make the decisions, where if my dad was about it, he'd probably said, nah, mate, you're playing football, end of story. Yeah. But that was it for me. I was like, I'm travelling the world, all these hot countries. Yeah. There's girls on my team. There's girls on the other teams. Yep, I'm doing track. That's it, done. And that was the end of that. I kicked football to the curb and started training properly. That was it, man.
Humble beginnings then. With that, like with mum and stuff. Yeah.
Real humble beginnings. It was like me and my mum. She worked like ridiculously hard. Never really. She done everything she could for me not to really want for much. I was, because she worked so hard, I was quite self-sufficient in terms of, from a young age, get myself to training, get myself back. When I look back at it now, even things like that, my son, at the age I was doing that, I'd never even let him do that now. But it's different times then. Okay. But yeah, she was really supportive. But kind of because she was working a lot and didn't really know too much about sport when it comes, as long as she knew I was at training, she was happy. Okay. And it kind of kept me off being on the street or doing it, because she knew I was either at football training, I was at track training, I was doing something constructive. So it kind of worked out well.
What's it like for like a young Mark Findlay to be, you know, growing up in the ends like that, and then all of a sudden like you've got British Athletics turn up like, oh, by the way, next week we're over here. Like to have that opportunity, not to do that, growing up in that environment. What is that like?
I mean, I'll be honest. I think it kind of saved me, to be honest. Yeah, because I'm born and bred East London, Leytonstone. So, you know, at that time, you know, your friendship groups, not everyone's doing sport. As you know, so it was kind of like that kind of saved me to the point where they would be doing what they were doing, but they know that's Findlay. Findlay's a runner, so they always kind of had my back. So not to say I wouldn't be going out and doing things, but you know, when it got to things that I shouldn't be doing, they would be like, you ain't doing this. You're the runner. You're
a good one, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So track saved me, and it was really nice to like just be able to, at that age, to see different cultures, different things, and it grows you. When you look back at it now, it grows you it grew me as a person, for sure. Going to these different countries, seeing different cultures, being around different people that I probably wouldn't have been around in the ends. Yeah, man. It was a real good thing. Real good thing.
I think I'm glad you kind of touched on that point of individualism, like from just growing up with mum and having to be self-sufficient, because it was something I actually wanted to have a chat with you about. Just looking at the interviews I've seen of you, but also like the business that you've built up. And there's a quote that you said that I've actually twice in two of the interviews that I've kind of wrote down for you, and you said, I knew it wasn't going to work for anyone. I haven't got a pot to piss in. Back's against the wall. This needs to work.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, when I finished track, it was like, you know, when you're kind of coming to an end, and it was like, what's next? That chapter's coming to an end. There needs to be a new chapter. So then you start looking at, gosh, it's the 9 to 5. And I knew with not having a dad around, there was only one person of authority around in my life, and that was my mum.
Okay.
So then for me, it was like, she's the only person that could kind of talk to me away or discipline me. So then for me to go into a workplace and have someone, go and do that, or this is not good enough. It's not going to work. So it was a thing where I had to come up with something where I am my own boss. And if it goes well, it's on me. If it goes bad, it's on me. But I'm super focused, super stubborn, and I chose to go into, you know, the personal training side of things, start my own company and be like I said, didn't have a pot to piss in, didn't have a client, but I knew I was going to make it work. I just had to make it work because the back is against the wall. This is all I wanted to do. So with that, it was, you know, finding ways to make it work, and you know, from printing business cards to any kit that I'd ever get, putting my logo on it. So I'm a constant advertisement for Findlay's Fitness. Things like getting a website started as cheap as you possibly can, just to cover all bases and just start from the bottom. You know, I remember training people for like £10, £15 an hour. But I knew it was going to go into something. Nah,
£10, £50 an hour in this crisis, cost of living,
for that right now.
Where do you think as well, just kind of alluding back to everything we've discussed at the moment, that sense of individualism, because, you know, not being to be, I guess, just kind of word of like ignorant about it, but again, like individuals that you were growing up around, the environment you were growing up around, even with it just being mum and being that sole kind of Mark, you do this, and this. The environment's still outside where it's like, this could be a bit more fun though, mum. What do you think internally, if anything, if you reflect on it at all, kept you making sure that you stuck to the path that you have done? Because I could probably find 101 people in the bits to have this same conversation where they didn't make the decision you did. They remained.
Do you know what it is? It's like, I'll be honest with you, it was at times finding yourself in certain situations with your peer groups, and then you're really saying to yourself, nah, this ain't me. Like, this isn't me. Like, they may be comfortable with it, they're my friends, but this situation that I found myself in is not for me. And I'm, unlike a couple of the others, I had a alternate route. So then for some guys that, this ain't really me, but what else is there? I had that what else. So it was easier for me to say, nah, this ain't for me. I'm going this route.
Okay.
And because it was a route that I thoroughly enjoyed, it wasn't that hard for me to kind of leave that behind to then really concentrate on what I was doing, which didn't mean guys are still my friends and stuff, but, you know, it was understanding that there was certain things that some of them were keeping up with that I just couldn't be around.
Okay.
And I just concentrated on what I was doing.
Yeah.
And once everybody kind of accepted that, you know, some of them friends I still know now.
Yeah.
But it was always like, he chose that route, we respect that route, we backed him, and never looked back after that.
Have you noticed, maybe not from those individuals that you mentioned there you're still close with, but maybe those that you're not as close with, is there, or if you did bump into them or whatever, or actually maybe in some of the friends that you do still have, is there like a sense of like awkwardness in and around that? Because
no, because I feel like everybody has to travel their own road. So some of them traveled that road, and it took them a lot later on in life to realise that wasn't their road. That wasn't the right road. I realised very early. Some of them didn't realise until they were grown, but now have changed their life around. Now have got successful businesses, but it just took them a little longer to realise. Some didn't. Some didn't realise and have had a hard life. But the main guys that I know and was hanging around with found that a little later on, but have turned their life around and are doing really well.
And in a weird way, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but I look at this from the perspective of the culture individuals that we've got, whether it's for like music artists, you know, content creators, stuff like that are from inner city environments. I there's a part of me that always wonders that they would never reach what they have done in these upper echelons if it wasn't for that environment 100%, as well.
100%.
Through like your athletics career, did that help sometimes?
Yeah,
you know,
just you know, never really having things handed to you. Like, had to work for everything. And I think that even through my athletics career helped me. But obviously, as coming out of track and field and doing what I'm doing now is like, along with what I had to go through as a young person and the perseverance you had to have as an athlete, to now come into the second chapter of your life and have your own business, those things are what helped me to have a very aggressive look at going and getting what I want and making sure that I do everything in my power and work my ass off to get it. So those foundations from young of how we grew up and how I grew up 100% are a part of why I made what I'm doing a success.
And with that kind of visualization or individualism, should I say, because again, that's what I love about track and field. The most about is that I love my training group. I love them to bits, but as soon as on that line, it's me against the world and everyone else and everyone about it. Does that, I wonder, has that ever impacted you? Like, you know, you don't need to go into a lot of detail if you don't feel comfortable to, but the individual that you have to be as a track and field athlete, when you maybe bring that into, like, if it's like not in family, social life, stuff like that. Have you found yourself had any challenges with that?
Because we're selfish people. Very selfish. And to do that sport and to do it at a good level, you have to be selfish. Like, certain things that your normal guy would do, you're not doing. Like, things like making sure that your recovery is where it needs to be, means there's certain things that you can't be doing. Even in relationships with your other half. Like, if they're not a sort of person that understands, they can take a lot of things to heart because you are quite selfish. It's an individual sport, and like I said, when you're on that line, it's you. Your coach ain't there knowing it, it's you. So you have to take it upon yourself to make sure everything you do is gonna be the things that are gonna help you moving forward. And some of it is quite selfish. And I mean, those things have helped me up until today.
Yeah.
I'm not as selfish.
Yeah.
In track, 100%, bro. You are a bit selfish. For sure.
Has it ever been to a detriment in terms of like maybe not accepting help before? Because I know I've done that before. I've had so many people like Jordan. I will, to the bare bone knuckle-headed of it, be like, I'm not listening to you until, like, I don't know if it's a muscle that goes ping or socially someone's just like, right, dropping out like I can't be asked.
Again, I feel like that again boils down to your journey as well. Yeah. Sometimes it takes something to happen for you to realise, okay, I need help with certain things, or I need to be a bit more open-minded. I need to be a little bit less stubborn. But I think that comes with growth. And as you grow, these things, you accept them a little bit more. But in the beginning, because you're so single-minded, everything's about me. I know what I'm doing. But until something happens and you realise, some outside help wouldn't.
You need to give a bit here, yeah.
You need to be a little bit open-minded. We've all done it, man. I was in the sport from 19 to 35, so you can imagine some of the mistakes or stubbornness that caused me problems. But then, as you grow as a person, you learn to take the right advice, use it usefully to help you. But yeah, it comes with growth.
You got to think about your competition environment though, Mark. You had some dominant figures, like all of you lot, Spartans in that start line. Dwayne. James Ellington was younger, but he just in around that time as well. Christian Malcolm, Marlon,
Marlon, Jason Gardner.
There were some heads in there that were just...
There were some heads. It was fire all the time.
What were those call room interactions like?
So you have some characters in there. So in the call rooms, it's very much like... I mean, you can cut the tension with a knife. Or you might have someone that comes in and, they're being a bit bossy and talking a lot and, but we know you're shitting yourself. So like you doing all that doesn't fool anyone. Everyone is in there, they're crapping themselves. And anyone that says they're not, they're lying. It is a very tense place to be in. Is who can keep them nerves and that anxiety under control the best. I've seen people in the call room like let their anxiety get the best of them. Their nervous energy is gone in the call room. By the time they stepped in the track, they're like
tired. They're done. Fatigued.
Finished.
The rep's already done, isn't it?
But there is some stories like people will hide spikes and. Bro.
No, surely not.
All sorts, bro. Where's my other spike? No one's not saying nothing. Somebody knows where your spike is. Mate, seriously, listen, even on the start line, there's a fella named Alan Condon up in Liverpool. Fucking little pocket rocket. He would do some mad shit. You'd be on the start line, they'd go on your marks, get down, do your little routine, get on the line. He'd go... spit right by your hand. So you either accept it, you put up your hand and to start again, or you just wait and set and go. But you're thinking about what he's just done. Which means you are now no longer thinking about the gun, executing what you got to do. Mate, it's not so much now.
No,
but back
of course.
Then, mate.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That is warfare. If that was me, that's rude, Mark. I'm sorry. I'm swinging on everyone. If that was me, no.
Yeah. Mate.
Oh, your head's gone as well, isn't it?
That's normal behaviour. Normal behaviour back then. For sure.
But I've said this so many times on the pod with people I've sat down with. I think I say it to OG and Dwayne especially, but like it's that upstairs warm-up area in Lee Valley during indoor. Oh God, the testosterone bounced around that environment. Even like now, when as you say, I think the culture's changed so much with just people in general, but like the athletes, like it's a lot nicer. Everyone says hello. But that upstairs place will never change. I live for it. I sit there the whole competition because I need it. Do you know what I mean?
I think towards the end of my career, I experienced that. So it would have been probably like 2010 when this first started doing competitions there. I got to experience that a little bit. But by that time, I'm seasoned, and I'm well into my 30s. I've seen it all before. Yeah. All the little young lions coming with their energy and that, and I'm looking at them, mates. Well, I've seen this, done this before, mate. So, but yeah, no, good place to be around. I was in that building for from the day it opened up until last year. So it's I've seen a lot in there. Yeah, no, same.
Just in terms of just into track and stuff like that, I wonder if you could give like people that are listening just an experience of like winter training, because like we're recording this at the moment like in October 14th. So some people might have been back for a few weeks, others are starting pre-season now, but these next few months are just in the absolute gulag, just having the worst time.
Gruesome.
And like, I just wonder, when you look back on that now, do you think to yourself that you must be like a few slices short of a loaf?
Oh, 100%.
Because there's some of the programs, the sessions my coach puts up sometimes, I'm like...
Every what people got to realise is every athlete is a psychopath.
I agree.
You have to. Yeah. It sounds to the person who's not involved in it, it's going to sound crazy, but you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Because you put yourself through absolute hell to the point where you're throwing up, you're on the floor, you can't move, you can't see, you're moaning, you're crying, you're rolling around, you're questioning why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But you'll be back the next day to do it again.
Yeah, for the sake of 10 seconds, by the way.
That's mental.
Do you know what I mean?
That's mental.
Yeah.
So for the sake of, okay, you ran 10-3 last season, you're going to put yourself through all of that from October to April to run 10th and a half, 2 times quicker. Yeah. Which is...
Yeah. Yeah.
We're psychopaths.
Yeah.
I look back now at some of the training sessions, because I've kept a diary every year through all my winters. Sometimes I look back, but even don't even need to look back, but know some of the sessions I've run, and I'm like, how did I do that?
Do you go back there as well? Can you like vividly be back in that session?
100%, 100%, and just know the feeling of what that felt like. But even now, like when, I'm a lot older, but still do a bit of training, and I may do something that's not even half as hard. And then to think, the full session of that, I used to run that at such a high intensity. And I look back and I think to myself, how the fuck did I do that? Insane. Absolutely insane. And it gives you a realization of just how good you actually was. And just how focused and how you was able to train at a high intensity multiple times a week, multiple times a month, year after year after year.
How did you deal getting into kind of leaving that environment? Because again, like me still being in it at the moment, I've never run any incredible times, but there's just this itch every my training, my only rest day will be Friday. Yeah. Outside of that, I'm either track, hills, or gym. And each day there is an itch of this day needs to hurry up because I need to be there. And then all of a sudden you come into the end of that. Yeah. And then that structure's gone, because again, I think that's why I enjoy it quite a lot, because there's structure. It's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
What's the kind of, once the last race, spikes are on the floor now, trainers are away, everything gets packed up, I'm done. What was that first week like?
Do you know what it was? I think mentally I prepared for it the year before. So 2011, I was like, I contemplated, maybe this is it. So I already started up my PT company, moving into 212, which I decided, you know what, I'm going to do one more year. So I was already doing little bits and bobs with the work while I was still training for 212. So then when that didn't go well, I think the defining factor was like, the young lions were really coming through, so the Adam Jamilis were coming through, running 10-0 and that, and I was just like, I'm not giving you little motherfuckers the satisfaction of slapping me anymore. I'm out. And that was it. I was like, So walking away from the sport wasn't, at the time, it wasn't actually that hard.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I'm not giving you the satisfaction anymore to putting me to bed and making me look like some old man. So I was like, I'm done. So literally, I finished the season. Yeah. Done a few races in Europe. After my last race, spikes are done. I went straight into, I already probably had about 8 clients by then. Okay. So I literally, that week, I was already working. Yeah. So it was quite a smooth transition. But then obviously you still get the itch. I mean, I lasted probably, I lasted 2 years. And then I decided, I think I'm going to do some masters. Okay. Yeah, I ended up doing a little bit of masters athletics for a season. Just the indoor season.
Yeah. How was that? How did you find that?
That was enjoyable, man. Because what happens is you're still competitive. Yeah. So you've retired. Yeah. But you're still competitive. And I'm mad competitive. Yeah. I'll go to bowling with my kids. No, I have to win. Yeah. No, I can't lose. Yeah. So I'm that guy. So the competitive edge was always there. Yeah. So to do masters athletics where you can still be competitive, but it's on your own. There's not so much pressure, but you can still go and race and be competitive and win a title. And I done that for a couple years. Loved it. But then I'm very much like, work was getting really busy then. And it was like, I'm 0 or 100. Yeah. So if I can't train at a 100, I'm not going to train at half to let someone come and beat me. So I was like, I can't train at 100, so I'm done. Okay. Yeah. No, I felt like, do you know what, on the point of Adam as well, I remember watching him too. It was 2011. I've just gone onto his Power 10 now to find out what competition it was, because I had to look at it. And it's basically his second year of like properly sticking to it at the Kano trophies in Kingston. It's dropped to 10.73 and a minus 1.9. And this is Adam fresh off football field. Yeah. And we were all just like, you're different gravy. Like, and then a few years later, the rest is history.
Literally, and it all turns around. But I can appreciate that, because even for like us who have, because I've been doing this now since like 2008. Yeah. So, and again, never run anything close to what Adam's done. But to have this guy just like pitch up as a kid, I think he's older than me by like a year, and it's like, bro, how far I can't begin to imagine how you felt.
It weren't nice. Like, obviously around my time, it was myself, it was Dwayne, it was Darren Campbell, it was Christian Malcolm, Marlon Devonish, which at one point we all ended up in the same training group. Yeah. Mark Lewis Francis. It was now some new kids, who are you? Yeah. And they're coming and going, whoom, 10-0. And I think it's finished. I'm done.
It's done now, no, fair enough.
I'm done.
Just going on your point of, one of the points that I did want to bring through with a lot of this today, Mark, was around kind of themes of graft, which we touched on, which go into a bit more masculinity and fatherhood as well. Yeah. Because having seen your content and, keeping up with one another, you're massively, and you mentioned in terms of just being very aggressive in everything you do, which is a very masculine trait to have. But I guess in today's like society, there's a lot on whether this is a good thing, is it a bad thing, should we promote this, should we not? And again, especially looking over this summer when you've had some of the young lads in your some of the little camps that you've done over summer at Lee Valley, and you're giving them this space to like display their dominance, 100%. Be quick, be fast, be powerful. Yeah. How and I guess as a dad with that as well. And the culture you grew up in and how life was like back then compared to what it's like at the moment. Yeah. Do you find yourself struggling to fit in society, I wonder, just with as you are as a person compared to how it's a bit?
Not really, because at the age I'm at now, like, I am what I am. And I'm not changing. It's just how I am, it's how I approach life. And the footballers that I work with, I'm not just a trainer to them, I'm a bit of a mentor as well. And I try to get them to approach the same kind of mentality. You have to, if you want to achieve certain things, there's certain ways you need to go about it. And being relentless in the pursuit of it is a must. And there's certain characteristics that you're going to have if you want to really excel to the place where you need to go. So the whole, the approach that I have, will never change. I am what I am, and I stick to my principles and my philosophies, and I am what I am. Just crack on with it.
Yeah, I guess as you say, you've got that advantage of just having lived a life now, and
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I get a lot of people when I tell them my age, are like, huh? I'm like 45 years old.
Yeah.
I've been around.
Been about,
I may look, but I'm an old boy. So yeah, just life and life experiences and what's grown me and what I've been through in life has molded me to the person I am now, and that's just what it is.
And again, with just more so with your son, obviously, because he's your son. But do you find that you've got maybe the approaches that you would, or the lessons that you would have liked to have taught him from what you've grown up in?
Yeah.
And actually seeing how the world can be a bit techie towards, as I say, like displaying that kind of dominance and things like that. As a dad, do you see it quite difficult for young men?
100%.
With that now?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's how I approach it with my son is like you take snippets of how I approach things. Can't be exactly the same because the world's changed.
Yeah.
But the principles are the same in terms of, your work rate, and more so from what I learned in the sport growing up. It's a lot about how you conduct yourself as well. You have to conduct yourself in a certain way. Yes, you got to be aggressive and relentless in your pursuit of what you want, but it's also the perception of you as a person, which is extremely important, and especially in football. I've seen so many over-talented kids that just don't have the right attitude or approach, and that lets them down. All the talent in the world. But a lot of these coaches and teams, they're more interested in you as a person than, what you can offer. So very much with my son, it was working on his mentality and how he approaches just be as a person, how you are as a person. Small things like when you're talking to the coaches, you yes, gaffer, shake hands, eye contact. You need something done, I'll go and do that, gaffer. Just be a nice kid. You can play, but you've got to be a good person at the same time and mold those two together. And he gets it, he's got it, and God bless, he's doing really well.
No, I hope he continues to do so. Because
me
again,
too.
when you go down and see him and stuff, and I love the other day you got to do like a grass session, didn't you? Where you're just like, no days off today, so let's go.
No. He tried,
based on the kid, he was fuming.
He tried to call me and say, yeah, Dad, I'm going to do these runs. I said, what do you mean? Like, I need to be there. He's like, Dad, I'm just like, it's only across the road. I said, I'll be there in 25 minutes. Like, he tried to do the runs without me,
about being
which
there,
I knew would have been not half-hearted, but it wouldn't have been to the extent that I needed them runs at. So, but he now understands, like, everything you got to do has got to be at a high intensity. I make him study like Kobe Bryant a lot. So his mentality now is like anything he does is we're doing this at match speed, very high intensity. That's how you're gonna grow, son. So there's no cheating himself. He's very much since he's moved away. He's very much on it. I think moving out of home from mum has made him really grow up.
A lot.
He's on his ones. He understands that. Right, this is on me. So up until now, I think I've done a decent job. Long journey to go, but, so far, he's doing his thing. I'm happy.
Just going on the Kobe Bryant mentality thing, actually, because I think that'd be quite nice to look at. And the reason why I say that is because this is my only personal like sporting view of things, is that yes, we've agreed that all sportsmen and women are absolute psychopaths. But then you've got Americans and American sports people. And again, I wouldn't, Kobe Bryant is not a bad example to use to someone to be like, this is what you need to be like. But from a British sporting perspective, I've never known a British athlete to be able to hold on to that and not basically achieve a sense of like burnout or they like injure themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you kind of get that balance with him on that? I mean, again, for yourself, because I use going back to your generation of sprinters, like you lot were such just dominant Spartan figures who had that mentality, that just Spartan aggressiveness to just do a job.
Yeah.
And then it's almost as if through, I don't know if it's just the mixture of like sports science and then just the culture changing and individual needs being looked after more rather than your sporting performance. But that doesn't seem to be the most appropriate thing for
not
now.
Not nowadays. I mean, I don't want to offend anyone when I say this, man, but it has got a bit soft. Our generation, there weren't no trackside therapy. There weren't a lot of us, you know, in the beginning, I know a lot of people that had 9 to 5s would come and train in the evening. And are running, making Olympics, making... You know, the mentality was completely different. Right? There wasn't, you know, even like before lottery, there weren't no medical, there weren't no, you know, your training group had 2 therapists there waiting on hand. You do a few drills. Oh, that don't feel right. You jump in the bed, get an adjust. There was none of that, bro. It was like you work it out. You feeling a bit stiff, tight? All right, go and stretch. Get in the roller. Work, figure it out. So I think we were just a lot tougher then. And I'm not saying I am saying to be fair. I think a lot of this has made a little bit softer, but you know, times change. It's just, you know, things evolve, things change. A lot of data and technology have come into the sport now, and it's very much driven like that. But it is what it is. But I just feel like back then it was a lot more. It was just hard, and I'll give you an example. Up until a lot of Jamaicans still train how we train back then now. There's not too much like trackside therapy, loads of data. No, they're on the grass 6 o'clock in the morning, hammering it. You might get a massage. You come back, you do your gym, you go again. There isn't much sports psychology. There isn't trackside therapy. There isn't let's get the lave out and do your 10 your seconds, put your seconds per meter kind of like biomechanics. No, it's just get up in the morning, train, bang out the session, go home, rest, come back.
Yeah, it's interesting because OG said that when I was chatting to him about things, and he was just like, as an athlete, he gets so much information, and he's like, "Is this too much?" And he's just like, there are times where he said, "It's like I've gone out." Like on a night out, I've turned up track next day and I've run best because I'm not thinking. I switch off, and again, but it's
there's too much. There's a lot of, I think, data in track has created that. I mean, when I was doing a little bit of coaching, you know, things like having your timing gates out. I would have athletes that would finish a run and then come to me and say, "Oh, can I see the time?" I'm like, "Why?" I said, "How does it feel?" "Oh, it felt good." That's all you need to know. You feel good? You feel like you executed well? Good. And then, like, some reason I stopped showing athletes the times all the time because, you know, they would, their justification of how that run was is the time. Not so much how you feel you executed. It's what the clock says. And it can't always be that. You know, you'd have athletes that would do a run, execute really well, see the time and think, I thought it was way faster than that. Now all of a sudden that's a shit run. It's not a shit run. You executed it well. Don't get sucked in just by data and just by numbers. It's got to be how you feel. Back then we didn't have that. Your coach had a stopwatch and he would keep the time for himself unless it was you had to hit a certain time and he'd tell you whether you hit that time or not. But a lot of the time it's off feeling. Yeah. You know when you run quick. Yeah. Like I would cross the line in certain runs and be like, yeah, that was rapid. I didn't need the coach to tell me anything. Yeah. Where now it's like they need that sense of what does that timing gate say? What did I do? Was it that quick? Was it you know. But
Which I do agree with, and the reason why I say that is, again, just got power of 10 up now. Like, you know, Zarnell, 30 years, 30 years after Linford's 100. He's done, again, 30 years beating John Regis's 2. Matt Hudson-Smith, shout out to him, taken, 13, 14 years for Ewan Thomas's record to go.
it's a long time.
And these are all guys that were still, as you say, probably 9 to 5 in a little bit as well, and just
training
training
the old Spartan way, bro.
Yeah.
So with all the data, with all the, you know, the therapy and biomechanics, and it's taken a long time to wipe out some of the old dogs.
Some of the times, no, 100%.
So, but 100%. Again, listen, everything, the world is changing. I mean, just remember downstairs, I gave you a pair of flipping sunglasses.
Yeah.
That records. Mad.
Yeah, why? But still, it's happening. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different world out there. So you kind of I can't get stuck in what was. The world evolves, and sometimes you got to move with the times. But I just know, you know, what I know works, and you know, I take some of the new school, but I still keep my values. What I know definitely works. Yeah,
let's bring it into now, because it's definitely paid off for you. And I guess the reason why I say that, not obviously you're a brilliant performance coach, but the clientele that you've dealt with as well, it stretches from, you know, some of the greatest artists that we've had in the UK, like Kano, Bashy, working with Zeze Mills. You've gone through the NBA with J.R. Smith. List of Premier League ballers as well.
Yeah, it's been a ride, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, not to name drop or embarrass you though, but you know that I guess we all measure kind of success on stuff in that respect with people who we work with and what doors it opens. And you've worked with some incredible talents, both, you know, from an arts perspective, but also sport.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just how does it feel being like waking up as that? Have you been able to take have you taken that step back yet to look at everything, if that makes sense? Because I can still I get the sense off you that, again, I know you do Graft 24/7, always working. Has Mark had the opportunity to be like, shit, look at all of this that is going on or not?
It's funny because probably the last time I actually got to really stop is I'd done another podcast and got asked a similar question. And it's only when that question got asked I was like, oh, yeah. But because you're moving at 100 miles an hour, you just keep going, you keep going. It's not until you actually stop or you go on holiday or you take a time out and you kind of reflect on what you've built. But yeah, it when I do stop and I look back and I think, you know, like again what we refer to very like earlier, that when I first started, not a pot to piss in, and to be where I am now and built what I've built and working with the people I'm working with, it's a blessing, man, and it's humbling. I'll be honest, like, but it you know, sometimes you can be quite hard on yourself because you know you always want more, you want to achieve more. But then sometimes you need to take a step back and be like, okay, I still want to elevate, but dude, you're doing good. Like, don't be hard on yourself. You've achieved great things. We still want more, but we've come a long way. And I have to be grateful and blessed to be doing what I'm doing, working with the people I'm working with. But yeah, sometimes when you look back, it can be quite surreal. I'll be honest.
Yeah. How do you, again, I guess with that balance of like letting yourself sit back with that, because again, I know I've only seen this through kind of social media and the small conversations we've had and stuff, but it almost feels like looking at what you've built with this, it's like, right, you could just chill with that now. And I know you're not going to. I know you laughed at it as if saying, no, don't be daft, but you know, how do you kind of make sure that you get the fine balance of, you know, not maybe going on autopilot and just being happy with what you are?
Not because I feel like, and again, I think it comes from sport, bro. You're never satisfied. You run a PB, what happens? You want to run faster, don't you? You never. That itch is never scratched, and it's the same with business. Same with what I created now. It's you're never satisfied. Like you accept that you're doing well, but I can do better. And I think that's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps me trying to grow and just trying to do it bigger. I just won't stop. It's bad because I need to. Everyone says you're a workaholic. Even in this building where I am now, everyone knows me as an absolute workaholic. And sometimes you do need to take a step back and be like, plug yourself out the matrix, recoup. Okay, let's go again. And sometimes I haven't done that enough. But yeah, I'm still as hungry as I was, and I still want more. Yeah.
So there's a conflicting thing in me with this and what you've described there, because I absolutely 110% agree with you. One of my mates the other day, I was chatting to him, and he was like, "George, you just need to switch off me." He said, "You just need to stop." He was like, "Go buy a PS5 and just shut up for a bit." Because again, having shows about it, when he's asked about like the episodes we've got coming up, speaking about you, other people that I've contacted, and some that haven't got back to me, some that have, some that have gone quiet, and it's all of that. And he's like, "Bro, you just need to shut up for a bit." And I'm just like, impossible. I can't do that. Like, and even as like as a therapist as well, the conversation you and I are having right now, I know what it feels and where it comes from, and it feels great.
Yeah.
But I'll have people that I work with sat in front of me who are doing and trying to display what we like. I guess we would in terms of that working hard, and they burnt themselves out.
Yeah, 100%.
And I find it so interesting sometimes how again the mentality that I would apply to sport, I again apply to work. Like I had overtime this morning before coming here. Like finished my last page at like 2:00 and then shot straight over.
Yeah.
So like that for me is like normal. Other people be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. But I feel like that's what can separate someone from really excelling and someone who just content to, I'm doing okay. I'm happy with this. I'm not one of them people, and I don't think you are either.
No, I can't. It's impossible. You just.
What I have done though, done is, and I've promised myself this, and I've started doing it, and it does actually work. Every 6 weeks, I pick a spot in the UK. I drive to that spot, a nice hotel with a spa, and I unplug for 2 nights by myself. If I want to stay in that room and watch Netflix and order room service for 2 days, I'll do that. Yeah. Just completely shut off.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back and I'll go hard again for 6 weeks. That has really helped me because that 6 weeks, there is no off button. Even, I've got 3 kids, so even when work's done, I'm a dad now. Yeah. And I've got 7-year-old twins, my friend.
Yeah, okay.
So there is...
Yeah. Chaos.
It's chaos.
Just kid crackhead energy, just running around everywhere.
So when your work's done and you're knackered and you think, I'm going to go and put my feet up, have a cup of tea. Nah, bro. Yeah, do
you find that just that personally, do you find it lonely sometimes? And again, it's probably a really difficult thing to answer because you're around and you're supporting like-minded individuals. But again, you could see that client for an hour or whatever, and then you still got, I guess, wider society to deal with. Do you find it lonely sometimes, just not being able to maybe share that?
I'll be honest with you, because doing what I do, you give a lot of yourself. Day after hour, day after day. You're giving a lot of yourself. You're giving a lot of energy to other people. And sometimes it's like, because it's happening every day, every week, every month. Sometimes you need to sit back and think like, what about me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about me? Like, who gives me their energy? Who can I vent on? And so like it's interesting that you brought that up. Yeah, I feel like I need to do that more. Even one of my best pal, he said like, I see somebody like, and I'll be honest with you, it's just a talk, and it's not like I'm I'm depressed or going through anything crazy, but similar to what you're saying, you give so much of yourself to other people. What about me? And I think I may.
It feels foreign as well. Again, if you don't mind me saying, like even that second bit of I need time for me now.
Yeah.
I cringe up. I'm like, what do you mean you need to shut up, you pussy? Just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? Like it's to have, and as you say, to talk to someone about stuff. I mean, I'm quite lucky that two of my boys from school, like, love them to bits. Will and Zach, that we made like a proper kind of pact at the mid bit of this year because we hadn't seen each other for ages, and we all live like a 4-minute walk from each other, and we just haven't seen each other for months. So we're just like once a month a weekend gets booked in where we just go to the pub, and that's it. All three of us could just shut up, not say anything the whole time.
But me and my best pal, we pretty much made the same pact. It started off at once a month.
Yeah.
We meet up, we go for a drink, and we just vent on each other. You tell me what's going on, I tell. And I'll be honest with you, at the end of that conversation, we could be in a place for 2 hours eating, drinking. When you come out of there,
recharged.
You feel recharged. You feel light. You feel lighter. I've been able to get things off my chest that have just been sitting there. That I'm a man, innit? Don't share shit.
No, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? It takes a lot for me to have trust with someone to be able to talk about what's really going on. But my best pal, it's kind of turned out like once every couple months. If we can get it done once a month, but once every couple months, we make a pact that we go somewhere, we go and chill, and we spend a few hours and just how's life, bro? What's going on? And because it is needed, bro. It is needed, especially when you're in a. No, he's in a very high pressure job, but my job's kind of full on. It's like it's non-stop. I work 6 days a week. And the only reason I don't work 7 days a week is because my son plays football on a Saturday. And it's like, you could offer me £1,000 an hour, I'll turn it down because that's my downtime. Sitting on the sideline with my little deck chair, my little flask. That's my enjoyment. My week's been hectic, but see this 90 minutes right here? Bliss. Bliss. So it's important to give yourself some time out, and especially if you can do it with people that are close to you as well. And if you can't, just speak to someone, man. For sure.
Just like the world of performance, and I guess the frustrating thing for yourself is because you've only ever been in it. It's only you just experienced it from young till now, just helping other people. But where do you kind of how do you identify kind of with someone's performance and being responsible for kind of getting the best out of someone? Because again, I'm sure you'd agree, but like if you the person that wants to perform needs to be there to do it first.
100%.
To then be now you're the guy on the other side of the fence now who's trying to get these performances out of people where you were originally the athlete. What change has that been like for you?
I'll be honest. It's been quite a smooth transition because I feel like even in my training group, I was that guy that, because I was so much of a student of the sport, it wasn't like I would just train and once we leave training, I'm done. I'm on YouTube, I'm studying videos, I'm reading blogs from other coaches. I was very much so, and I was very much the person like, we could all be dying in a session, but I'm going to be, if I see you struggling, I'm the one who's going to be encouraging. I'm dying with you, but I'm dragging you up. Come on, we got 2 more runs, bro. We can do it. I'm dragging. I was always that guy. So then to step away from the sport and be the one to now, I'm not dying with you, but I understand what you're going through. And be that guy to inspire and point you in the right direction and give you the tools you need to perform was quite natural. Because it was something that I'd done when I was an athlete, and it was nice to do it in my sport, but it was also nice to come and do it in other sports as well. Like, I feel your pain. I know what it takes for you to achieve. These are the things we have to do, and it's been very rewarding seeing that work and seeing the guys you're working with going and excelling, and knowing that not just physically what you've done for them, but mentally and their approach and their mindset, and just their professionalism to their sport, how it's helped them. Because philosophy is being an athlete first, whatever your sport is.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of athleticism and mindset and eliteness that you need to have no matter what sport you play. And that's what I try and instill with the people that I work with. And when they get it, it's great to see how they just excel, and I get great satisfaction from that.
And has this always been just, I guess, from an academic and like education perspective? Have you gone through channels of like uni and stuff with this, or is this, as you say, just student of sport picking it up?
I went from
running
school.
with it?
I went to George Monarch's College in Walthamstow for 2 years, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with education.
Really?
Yeah, literally. I think that I may have even finished the second year slightly earlier, because I think that year I got lottery funding, I got a shoe contract.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, I'm out.
Yeah.
I was go through school and education, I was the jock.
Yeah.
I was the captain of every single team, captain of the football, basketball, volleyball, cricket. I was just that guy. The award ceremonies, award assemblies, like I'm picking up Sportsman of the Year, Cricketer of the Year, Basketball of the Year. I was that guy, so I was never really like super academic. So I knew from early I had no ambitions of going uni and being an academic. Sport was going to be my thing. But then obviously, once you come out of sport, you realise like, paperwork is needed, bro. So I went and done the courses that I needed to do for me to be able to do the work that I needed to do, and that was it. But then it was like, even now I'm still a student of what I do. But I just didn't feel I needed to go to uni to do that. I know a lot of guys that went and done the uni route, sports science, this, masters, that, but have no sporting experience. Some of them don't make the greatest coaches, bro.
It's just a game of being a human being, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not even the theory. You just got to be a decent person that can emotionally switch on with people.
100%. And literally, that's it. So I've always kind of been a people person.
Yeah.
So I understand. It's almost if you want to refer to football, Harry Redknapp. He's a good people person. And he had his success through managing from being a great people person. So, I may not have been the greatest academic, but in terms of, being able to get the best out of someone and having the determination to be able to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, and create something, it's worked out, man.
So interesting, because again, like from my time at school, like I was quite fortunate as well, both from an academic and a sporting perspective. But like my year group was like dogs bollocks for both, really. We had a couple of good lads in rugby. Some of them went to like Saracens camp and stuff like that. But academically, like, and maybe again this is where like shift in terms of the age stuff's changed. But they were all up there as well. Like these boys are bounced over to Cambridge, Oxbridge, everything else.
That's
like
proper.
Yeah, mad inviting just the change in that. But again, maybe just as a dad now as well, taking through your kids through school and stuff like that, is there still as good an opportunity, do you think, to, I'm not promoting people sacking school off and education here, but to have what, and go through the lanes that you have, it doesn't just necessarily need to be PT, but I just wonder, as one of the elders, do you still see opportunity for maybe the younger kids now that you had to be able to be like, do you know what, education, let's not do it? Or
I mean, listen, even with my eldest son, so he sat his GCSEs summer just gone, and literally got his results, I think, on a Thursday, and on a Saturday he started his scholar up in Cambridge. He was gone. But there was always a thing, like, he was similar to me, not an amazing academic, but I always had like, mate, this is the requirement. This is what I need from you. We need 6 to 7 passes. Like, I'm not expecting you to go and get, I would call them A stars, they're all fucking numbers.
They're numbers. Yeah.
But I'm not expecting you that, but there's a level because I still feel at that time you was a student athlete, and I want you to be able to know that there's still certain responsibilities, and when you have these responsibilities, you still have to take them. So you play football, but you're also at school. Take both of them seriously, and I think things like that will set him up for later on in life. So be fair to him. The requirements I asked from him, he got. I'm happy. He may never use them, but
they're there just in case,
they're there,
right?
and he's set himself up, and he's doing his thing in football. And again, even he's doing his scholar there, he's still studying up there. So, you know, and certain things, if you didn't pass these certain subjects, you would have to be doing at your scholarship, which would take away from your training time.
Yeah.
And I know all you want to do is play football.
Yeah. So
So pass these, because if not, you're going to be doing them at football.
Yeah.
While everyone's out there training, you're going to be in the classroom. I know you don't want that. So to be fair to him, he done it, and it's worked out. So yeah, I mean, and it's still, I'm very much for, like, definitely don't feel like you need to be this, have masters and this and this degree and that degree to be a success, because I think it's shown that there's so many people that haven't, that have gone on to be super successful. But I feel like there's definitely, that lane is definitely still there. Like, you know, I would never say to someone, scrap thing, you don't need that. Like, no. If you're interested in that, you go for it, you do it. But yeah, education is important, 100%. But I it's funny because I'm so different with the twins. Like,
more so onto it with it,
I
or
never thought I'd be like that.
Yeah.
Mate,
what do you reckon changed?
I'm ruthless with them. Mate, every day from school, maths, English, reading, spelling, every single day.
What do you reckon changed for you with it? If that's not too much
Do you know
personal
what?
question.
It's funny because I think it all started because they had, like, certain competitions at school.
Yeah.
Like a math competition. And, like, my kids have to be first. So I'm sitting there doing fucking maths homework with my kids. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm researching what they need to do so they can do it. And it's just become a...
It's just competition. Yeah,
And
it's not even academic. Yeah.
I'll be honest, the maddest thing is, they're both top of their class. In maths and English. And now it's just like, okay, it may not be sport, but
But
Findlay,
we can make it. So
but the Findlay in me, and you are a Findlay. We have to be the
compete.
best.
Yeah, we have to compete. Yeah.
So they're just competing academically.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But so maybe these two are going to be my academic ones.
Yeah, maybe, amazing.
I'm onto them.
Hard work, though. With your son in academy, because again, I've few lads that I went to school with. One of them was at Tottenham, another one was goalkeeping at Arsenal, and then it got to like GCSE time.
Yeah.
One of them left, and then 3 weeks later, Tottenham dropped him.
Yeah.
Another one was like, I'm going to stick with sixth form because I think this is not going to go the way I did. And then lo and behold, the following week, got the phone call, mate, no more, you're done.
Yeah, it's ruthless.
Yeah, and again, I think this is a beautiful thing about track is that you just need to run a time. As soon as you run a time, British Athletics come knocking, and it's all on you.
Yeah, it's all on you.
But this football thing, like, ruthless.
And I'll be honest, like, track and field, like you said, it's down to you. You run fast. That's that.
Yeah.
Football is a game of opinions.
Yeah.
So what one person may see in you and not like, another person may see in you and love. So it boils down to being in the right time at the right place. There's so much luck involved. Like, you might be a great player, but for some reason the managers just don't fancy you. And then you go somewhere else, and you're the top boy. So I say to people, if people think luck is not involved in football, it really is. You've just got to hope you go to the right place, have the right people around you that appreciate you and actually want to help you, because it's a game of opinions. What somebody else sees is not what somebody else sees. So it is a lottery, man. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Have you had that conversation with him at all? And
Yeah.
again, obviously, I hope to, to God that he makes it and goes absolutely amazingly well. But again, like there's seeing the reaction of some of those boys that I went to school with, it was devastating. And as a 15-year-old who doesn't even understand emotions properly, and seeing that is horrendous.
It's horrendous. I mean, I feel like his journey, even from young, so he was, he's experienced what those things feel like. Released from West Ham when he was a kid, released from Tottenham when he was 14. Spent a year out playing grassroots, getting a love for football again. Then
so he has been through it.
So he understands it. So he understands what he needs to be doing, and just what it takes in terms of, as a person, you've got to give yourself every chance as a person for them to warm to you as a person. He's a really good kid. You got to work hard. You can't have an attitude. You can't have an attitude in the pitch. You just got to do everything in your power to keep things moving the way you want to move them. If for some reason it doesn't happen, as long as you gave absolutely everything, but everyone's got different journeys. So even if this doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that's the end. So I've kind of always tried to prepare him for, it's never going to be a smooth ride, mate. It's a long old journey. If this is what, he left school and he said, Dad, this is what I want to do. Okay. Don't think it's just going to be smooth sailing. You're just going to sign your scholar, you're going to sign your pro, you're going to play first team. That's what we'd love to happen. But it may not work out like that. But that doesn't mean you give up.
Yeah, well, Jamie Vardy's a good example, isn't
it? This is what I mean.
Premier League winner, Leicester City,
straight away, coming from non-league.
Yeah.
So, he understands it. And I think in the beginning, when he was young, he was keeping it, like, working on his physical. And the older he got, when he started approaching the 15 and 16, it was more working on his mental. And for him to understand what comes with all of this, being in the football, and how you deal with certain things. And, I think that's really what, because he was always going to be athletic. He's always got my genes, and probably better genes than me. So I wasn't really worried too much, but it's his mental and his approach and his focus, his discipline, doing what he needs to do in terms of knowing how to recover, how to look after your body, how to eat right, how to speak to people, your body language, all of those things, they all mean something. So he's understanding it, and I think he's putting him in good stead at the moment. So.
And as a competitor yourself, how much of that have you relayed from your experience, or are you the dad who's been a professional sportsman who is just like, I'm there for, obviously, to watch him grow and do great things, but I need to let him do this himself? What have you instilled anything from your time?
There's certain aspects that he has to experience for himself, but everything that I feel that I can help him with, where in terms of like, the basics where somebody else's dad might not have the experience, his recovery, his nutrition, studying your sport, looking at video analysis, like how can we get better? What do I need to work on? These are all things as athletes. It's a technical sport. You look at your block starts, for instance, could be pushing a bit better on that side. So I've almost turned that over to him in terms of his football, where he will look at things and say, I could have done that better, or that decision weren't the right decision. So he's become a student of his sport, as well as, like I said, his nutrition, his recovery, looking after him, so his sleep. So I've done what I feel is right, but again, like you said, there's certain parts I can't mollycoddle him, and I can't want it more than he wants it. So I feel like he's at a stage now where there's certain things he knows he has to do for himself, but I'm your dad, bro, and I've been training you since you was babby. I'm not about to just let you go, and I'll always guide you, and I'll always help you. But you're getting a big boy, but I'm always here to support in every which way I can. So. He's doing his thing.
Yeah. Where does, I guess, given your, what I want to do now is kind of just almost have you take a step back from like Mark Findlay, the athlete, and just kind of look at him and all he achieved, because there's always, not a dark side, but there's always like I wishes, or maybe if that changed, this changed, anything else. Have you ever had any reflections on that for your career at all, or
Yeah, I mean, I always look back and think you could have done better, for sure.
But is that just competitor Mark though, or is that genuinely I should have done?
I do feel I could have done better. I think some decision making hampered me. Maybe opening my mind a little sooner to certain things. But one thing I will say is that I worked my ass off. Like, I feel like at the generation of sprinters that we had, I wasn't the most uber talented. I got what I got from working my ass off. I had to really work hard. And I feel like I did do that. But I feel like there's certain things I could have done different, which may have helped me push on that a little bit more. But no regrets. I mean, from 19 to 35.
Yeah, it's a long time, isn't it?
Travelled the world.
Yeah.
World champs, Europeans, world juniors, made senior debuts. I think I'm a 14, 15-time national finalist, national medalist. I've done all right, and enjoyed it as well. So, and that person, that Mark Findlay who ran track and field, has made the person today. And I'm forever grateful, man. For sure.
And just final one, the scrutiny that you didn't have any like massive, but in terms of just scrutiny as an athlete. Because again, I guess, as you were mentioning with track and field, and we've both agreed that like it's you on the track, and the first thing you're going to do as soon as you cross that line and see your coach, or mine does anyway, which I love. Like we've got this like understanding that it's not well done. It's like, now we need to do this, and this next. How as that again, and living with that scrutiny, how did you find that, or that constructive criticism maybe probably more so, but
I find it comes. The relationship you have with your coach. Yeah. If it's a good one, it's you're always going to receive criticism easier. If there's friction between you and your coach, the what comes after is always going to be a bit, what's he on about? But yeah, I didn't really have no problem with it, because I was always seeking for more. I was never satisfied. So if I had to run a certain time and my coach would have been like, I think we can, and I'll be like, yeah, I agree. Like, because what more? Never satisfied. So I was always okay with that. But sometimes you could, have the wrong coach that don't quite fit with you, and that can create problems.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I had a few.
Okay. No.
Running around Lee Valley with a baseball bat, running after your coach. Yeah, that's another story.
Well, maybe we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there, end on there. But no, Mark, thank you for this today.
Pleasure,
and just sitting
man.
down, chatting on this.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Bro. Thank you, brother.